Hey, Greg, just wanted to get your initial thoughts on it. I thought Sacramento probably played a pretty good game, but you guys didn't seem to generate a lot of offense and certainly gave up some chances. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought we had a good start, first couple of minutes. I thought the ball was moving pretty quick. We were in good spots, and I think really kind of their first possession, we're down 1-0. Leading into it, talking about managing transitions and set pieces were going to be the two big things for us to manage tonight. And right off the bat, we didn't manage a kind of a transition ball behind us, and we're down 1-0 against a team that, to be fair to them, they're stingy defensively, right? Those back three, they get to a back five pretty quickly. They'll get everyone behind the ball, and they'll defend. There was they did that well in terms of protecting their goal. Late in the second half of the first half, they were able to get out and press us, and it was a big issue for us where we didn't really create the overload in midfield that we needed, and so for them it ended up being a pretty simple man-on-man press because our four guys with Kevin and Dayon, Sam, Ephra were pretty high, which made it easy for them to defend us, which could release their midfielders onto our midfielders, and we weren't creating the uncertainty for them. We weren't creating the overloads, and their intensity pressing us just gave us a hard time. We weren't moving fast enough either for each other to create opportunities. And so as that was happening, we changed it at halftime to put Ephra inside to try to create more of a three-man midfield against their two to create some uncertainty. But then we just turning over the ball, like the amount of just lack of concentration, turnovers, just simple missed passes. It's killer because then you're having to defend in transition again. It's an energy suck. It's an emotional suck. It was just poor. Like there's just no two ways about it. It's just poor. And the guys pushed. In the end, the second goal is. Just can't happen. I don't know. I could say a lot of things, but just can't happen. And then we're chasing the game again. And then once they're chasing the game in the second one, then they just really had numbers behind the ball, defended the goal well. We tried to put different bodies, size, different things into the box. I think, again, down the stretch, impatient from where we were putting balls into the box. We needed to advance the ball and put the ball in from better areas. But, I just thought overall the overall performance tonight was just not good enough. And I give them credit because they came in and they protected themselves well. They found good moments and the right times to try to press us a little bit higher. We didn't manage it and adapt well. And they took a couple chances. Not to say they didn't have other looks on goal, but they took a couple chances for sure. That goals change games, and we had to chase twice and did not do well. I think again sometimes tried to play Kev and Dayon together to force their three to have to defend our two more, and I didn't think the coordination of their running was necessarily good enough to make their three really defend them. I felt like they kind of played in isolation of each other, which made it too easy for the back three to defend them, and hence we just didn't get many chances out of the game as well.
I know we've talked a lot about this being a great chance for you guys to win a trophy, and now that chance is over. So is there disappointment on the team? Is there frustration?
Sure.
I mean, how do you guys feel right now?
Yeah, there's disappointment for sure. It's I think for the group, we've talked about this being something that we wanted to go for, and it was something important. And part of it was for the experiences like we had tonight. And okay, it didn't go our way. But this is what it feels like to lose in a knockout game or games that matter. And if you only have so many games in the course of the season that are like this, where there's really something on the line, where you really feel that, and it's better to experience that a couple times or a few times throughout the course of the season than to have it just at the end of the season. Like we that's one of the reasons why we went for it is to have the emotion that is involved in a night like tonight, good, bad, or indifferent. We have to deal with it. And so, the message in the locker room was we didn't get it done. We all cared and we wanted to do it. Our performance maybe didn't feel sometimes like that, but they did. The group cared very much about this. We're very disappointed and upset and angry, and at themselves, and now we have to leave this behind us because now we have the season to really focus on. And so now the challenge for us over the next 48 hours is to make sure this game and this event that we took serious, put it behind us, and now we have everything to play for in front of us, and that's the key of the next 48 hours. But I want the group to, like I said, to kind of feel this in a second so that we understand this isn't a position that we need to be in and what it takes to make sure we're not in this position again, right? And some of that was, I felt like we just kind of got outplayed at times tonight that we need to do more of, you know. We didn't play with the same intensity tonight as we did against LAFC as an example, or against some of the other games, and that can't happen, right? Every time we've got to play with that, so.
Hey Greg, why do you think that is? I mean, it's a knockout game, it's a quarterfinal game, but you guys sort of seem, they almost look like the first half against Portland the other day, disjointed a little bit.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I mean, anything I would give you is, one, I think there has to be, we have to respect every opposition the same way we respect LAFC, we respect the Austins, we respect those teams. I think on the weekend against Portland, it was a little bit of a different reason. I think it was kind of first game back, I thought we just were disjointed between whatever, the time of day, heat, different things. I felt like we just weren't moving at the same speed and together. Today, I just feel like we didn't adapt inside of the game, and we didn't have the right intensity. Some players, some did, some didn't, right? The right intensity to duel and compete. And I don't have a great answer, but I would say guys who continually do that won't play. And that's the message that they understand is every player on the field has to play with the right intensity and the right intention, not just play well, but play hard and compete for those things. So it's a short turnaround, them too. I don't have anything other than what you would have as well, is the group needs to knuckle down and come out with the mentality to really fight and compete and battle first, and then the soccer game will come second. So.
Hey Greg, just visiting their winning goal. Did Klinsmann, did he misplay that in your eyes? And in terms of the creation of the goal, it comes off a deflection off of Efra. Two passes and the guy's there, nobody's collapsing on him. Who should have
The second goal?
Their winning goal.
I honestly don't really remember how we got the ball. If I would estimate that we probably lost the ball carelessly because I feel like we did that too much.
It's more of a ricochet.
Okay, all right. Well, he ends up with the ball, and he's still about 40 to 35 to 40 yards out. He's got a decent look, and you see him winding up. I didn't feel like anyone was in the way between the ball and Jonathan, and felt like he had a good look at it. I don't know if he felt like it's somewhere there might be someone might be in position to deflect it, or I don't know why, but I felt like just his reaction to get across the goal and to dive and get in front of the ball was a little bit slow. He hit it well, but at the same time, from that distance with a pretty clear sight, it seems like it should be saved. And I would say he probably will say the same thing. I haven't spoken to him about it, but I would think he would say the same thing based on the look on his face. I guarantee you he'll say the same thing, but I just felt like, again, it was, just a slow read and slow to get across.
One of the positives of the game was your goal. One of the nicer own goals I think the Galaxy have ever scored. But the ball that Efra put in there.
The corner kick.
Looking for that.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I felt like in the last couple games, we've been a little bit more dangerous on our set pieces. That's something that hasn't been a major strength of ours, but I think our service from Efra today and from Sam over the last couple of games has been a little bit more dangerous. It was good to get something off a set piece, but it wasn't enough, so I don't take too much from it other than it was a goal. Yeah.
And lastly, what was Mark's situation today? Why he wasn't on?
Yeah, Mark was ill. It's a non-COVID related illness, and hopefully we can get him turned around quickly. We'll see. It's kind of day to day. So.
Right. You kind of talked a little bit about it, saying the energy. Obviously, playing LAFC game was very animated. You guys played San Diego prior to, and today, what are the dynamics of this tournament? Because you could obviously mess around with lineups a little bit and hope that maybe the lineup that you put on the field to start would help you guys get a little bit of relief, and you have to make early subs. Just dynamics of having to shift that all around in terms of knowing that there's a knockout game on the line and a trophy on the line further down the road.
Yeah, I just, again, I think there are some guys that on our team need to turn the meter when it comes to just intensity and compete and fight to a different level. I think, we have some guys who come out and they do the running and they'll do the work and they'll do some of the stuff, but in these games sometimes it's about being physical, it's about winning space, it's about winning first and second balls, it's about some of those things. And I think sometimes maybe within the mentality of our group, our mindset is a little bit like the game is going to be all soccer all the time, and it's not. There's still the foundation that you have to play soccer is you still have to outcompete the opposition, and you still have to do some of that stuff. And I feel like we're a little light sometimes in that category, and certain guys I think are consistently there, and certain guys I think sometimes have those moments, and then there's some days where we get everybody on the same page and it looks probably at our best. And so I think when we go out and we lead the foul count against oppositions and we show that physical presence, which is sometimes not that we out-foul the opposition, but sometimes when you see that on the scorecard that you have more fouls than the opposition, means you're physically kind of present in the game, our record's actually pretty good. When we're lower in that category, then our record isn't quite as good. And so those are things I think our group, which is just needs to remember and has to prioritize going into each game and not just some games.
Greg, two-part question. I know you talked about it a little bit earlier. This team went from dominating LAFC to obviously losing tonight. How do you describe the identity of the team? And the second part to that, what did ever cross your mind to start Chicharito, Julian Araujo, and Victor Vasquez? Because it seemed once they came in, even though the game was tied, you guys were kind of chasing the game a bit.
Yes and no. I mean, for one, Victor came out of the last game with an issue in his rib, so he wasn't necessarily ready to start and go the long haul. Julian arrived in training yesterday not feeling well, and so he didn't really even train with the group, so we limited his minutes tonight because of that. Javi, it's always a consideration, but there's always a risk reward in fast turnarounds of 2 days. With Javi, there's a risk that I wasn't really willing to play with at the start of the game, but hoping that he could come on at the end of the game and add his part to it. So some of this is still trying to calculate the fact that we are in 2 competitions and that certain things are going on with certain guys that not everybody is privy to, that I have to manage, and we have to manage from that side of things, because we are still in a block of, it was 8 games in 29 days, and so we still have to make some of those considerations. So we should have managed the game better with the guys that were on the field, and it's also a question to ask when guys get put on the field in these opportunities, who's going to step up. So, because this is what I said, when we play these games that matter, that have emotion, you're going to find out who at the end of the season, in the games that do matter, who's ready for that. And so there's an assessment in all of this as well on that side of things.
One last one over here.
Yep. Hi.
So since the Cup was in 2019, there's been a break, and since then there's been 19 more teams added to this expansion in the Cup.
Sure.
What do you think that this means for smaller division teams? Like, what kind of hope do you think this creates for those teams?
I think it's kind of the beauty of the event. It's a challenge for clubs, for all clubs, just because of the congestion that it brings and the farther you go, the more congestion you get, and that is everybody has to manage through that. The smaller teams don't even have as big a rosters as us in some ways, so they've got to manage through that as well. But I think that's the beauty of the event is, a team like Sacramento comes into the LA Galaxy Stadium, and the game is, arguably one of probably their biggest game of the season maybe. And so they're going to come with a different level of intensity, concentration. They shouldn't, but as human nature has it, sometimes these teams do, which is when you see these upsets, which many of them have happened this season. I think that's the beauty of the competition all around the world. There's cup competitions in every league around the world, or in every country around the world, and there's always upsets and knockoffs, and that's what people in a way love to see is those moments. So I think every team will continue to choose to place whatever weight they want on the event and on the competition. And for us, again, I I think with a group that's didn't get to play this competition last year and didn't go into the playoffs last year, this was an important thing for us for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that we wanted to manage through this and try to do our best, and we fell short of that, so, in the end. Okay, thank you.